Techno-Monarchism, a neo-reactionary shift in governance. Techno-Monarchism, the new form of government that Trump and Musk are bringing to the United States. The Neo-Reactionary Movement, also known as the Dark Enlightenment, emerged in the early 2000s as a counterpoint to liberal democracy. It rejects the ideals of equality and mass participation in governance, advocating for a return to hierarchical systems where power is concentrated in the hands of a ruling elite. Neo-reactionaries argue that democracy is inherently flawed, inefficient, and prone to corruption, believing that attempts to enforce egalitarian principles that all people are equal and deserve equal rights and opportunities lead to societal decline. Critics associate its anti-democratic, elitist ethos with neo-fascist tendencies, particularly its nostalgia for pre-modern authoritarian structures. From this movement emerged Techno-Monarchism, a new system that fuses monarchical rule with advanced technology. In this model, a single ruler or elite cadre wields unchecked power in tens, even hundreds, of thousands of sovereign and independent opt-in mini-countries, each governed by their own joint stock corporation. Bolstered by artificial intelligence, surveillance systems, and data analytics, democracy is dismissed as inefficient and chaotic, replaced by a technocratic autocracy where decisions are streamlined through algorithms and centralized control. Blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and decentralized protocols are foundational tools for these states. They enable trustless governance, transparent resource allocation, and borderless economic systems, reducing reliance on traditional governments or corporations. Just as tech platforms compete for users, these states would compete for citizens by offering better services, for example, healthcare, education, and legal systems. Membership is voluntary and global, transcending geographic or ethnic boundaries. Citizens pledge allegiance to the state's values, not a location, enabling a choose-your-own-government model. In essence, it proposes a radical shift from geographic coercion to voluntary tech-enabled societies. Proponents claim such a system would optimize governance, prioritizing stability and efficiency over individual rights or public input. Unlike traditional monarchies, which rely on aristocratic lineage or religious legitimacy, techno-monarchism justifies its authority through technological supremacy. The states function like a corporation, with a board of directors and chief executive officer wielding full power, while AI technologies, big data, and automation have replaced traditional bureaucratic institutions. In a techno-monarchist system, democratic institutions and public participation are either severely minimized or completely removed. The ruler makes unilateral decisions, leveraging technological tools to enhance control, enforce order, and streamline governance. AI-driven surveillance monitors citizens, algorithms manage resource distribution, and governance is conducted with military-like efficiency, free from the delays and compromises of electoral politics. Proponents argue that this system is superior to democracy, which they see as chaotic, corrupt, and slow to respond to challenges. They believe that human error should be minimized in governance and that technological precision can eliminate inefficiency, ensuring long-term stability. Key thinkers and ideological foundations. Curtis Yarvin, who also goes by the pseudonym Mencius Moldbug, and philosopher Nick Land are central figures. Yarvin's ideas, termed neo-cameralism, reimagine the state as a corporation governed by a CEO-like monarch. Yarvin criticizes democracy as corrupt and short-sighted, enabling populism over rational governance. He argues that democracy leads to bureaucratic dysfunction, inefficiency, and disorder, ultimately concentrating power in unelected institutions rather than elected officials. Drawing on computer metaphors, Yarvin contends that society needs a hard reset, or rebooting, not a series of gradual political reforms. In neocameralism, the government is run like a private enterprise, eliminating inefficiencies and prioritizing strategic decision-making over populist concerns. This model aligns closely with techno-monarchism, which envisions a single ruler leading a highly efficient, AI-enhanced state. Yarvin admires Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping for his pragmatic and market-oriented authoritarianism and the city-state of Singapore as an example of a successful authoritarian regime. He used the acronym RAGE, which he defined as Retire All Government Employees. Elon Musk's DOGE is just a rebranded version of RAGE. He demands mass resignations, locks career employees out of their offices, threatens to delete entire departments, and seizes total control of sensitive government systems and programs. DOGE equals rage, masked in the bland language of efficiency. Yarvin argues that governance should be left to experts who can make rational, long-term decisions rather than appealing to short-term electoral pressures. AI and data analytics would be integral to decision-making, ensuring that policies are optimized for maximum efficiency rather than political expediency. Yarvin frequently expresses admiration for monarchies and centralized power structures, arguing that modern states would be more effective if led by a single competent ruler rather than a fragmented democratic system. His belief in strong, autocratic leadership aligns with the core tenets of techno-monarchism, where monarchical authority is reinforced by technological control. Philosopher Nick Land further developed these ideas through the concept of Accelerationism, which advocates for pushing technological and economic forces to their extremes to reshape society. Land's vision aligns with techno-monarchism by embracing AI-driven governance, transhumanist ideals, and the rejection of democratic egalitarianism. He argues that technological progress should not be constrained by democratic institutions, believing that unrestricted technological development will naturally lead to more efficient governance models. Accelerationism and techno-monarchism both envision a post-democratic future where AI, automation, and surveillance create a highly controlled, efficient society. In this future, power is concentrated in the hands of a technological elite rather than distributed through democratic institutions. The state functions as a corporate technocratic entity, eliminating inefficiencies and governing with the precision of machine intelligence. Techno-monarchist ideas have gained traction among certain tech elites, libertarians, and alt-right factions, particularly those who believe democracy is incapable of keeping pace with rapid technological advancements. Many in Silicon Valley see corporate leadership as a more effective governance model than democratic politics, envisioning a future where states are run like tech companies, with a CEO-monarch leading through AI-driven decision-making. Billionaire entrepreneurs like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel have expressed skepticism of democracy, advocating for radical political experiments that resemble elements of techno-monarchism. Thiel, for example, has promoted the idea of seasteading, autonomous, corporate-run ocean cities that operate outside traditional governmental structures. Such experiments echo Yarvin's concept of patchwork governance, where independent city-states or corporate jurisdictions compete for citizens, resources, and technological superiority. For segments of the alt-right and neo-reactionary movements, techno-monarchism represents an authoritarian alternative to democracy, promising stability, efficiency, and order. It merges traditional right-wing values, hierarchical authority, centralized leadership, rejection of egalitarianism, with technological futurism, offering a vision of a highly controlled, AI-managed state. Despite its appeal to certain ideological factions, techno-monarchism faces significant criticism for its authoritarianism, elitism, and potential for tyranny. Critics argue that concentrating power in a single ruler, even one backed by advanced technology, poses severe risks to personal freedom and human rights. AI-driven governance raises ethical concerns about mass surveillance, social control, and the elimination of political opposition. the loss of democratic accountability would allow a techno-monarch to rule unchecked, potentially leading to totalitarianism. Others argue that over-reliance on AI and automation in governance could lead to unintended consequences, where algorithmic biases, machine errors, or unforeseen technological failures disrupt society in unpredictable ways. The very efficiency that techno-monarchists seek could become a dangerous vulnerability, as AI-driven decision-making could be manipulated, hacked, or fail to account for human complexities. Techno-monarchism reflects a broader reaction against liberal democracy, advocating for a return to autocratic power structures amplified by technology. With figures like Trump and Musk embodying the movement's ideals, this emerging political system is gaining traction in the U.S. Yet the ideology's anti-democratic core and potential for oppression underscore why it remains deeply contentious in political discourse. As AI, automation, and surveillance technologies continue to advance, the feasibility of techno-monarchist governance will likely become an increasingly debated topic. Elon Musk is spearheading the effort through his role at the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, where he's pushing for AI to take over government functions, including budget decisions that constitutionally belong to Congress. The plan appears to involve deliberately weakening government institutions by removing civil servants and replacing them with AI systems that are likely to fail. This failure would then justify further privatization and control by tech companies who position themselves as the only ones who can fix the resulting problems. The Trump administration is concurrently working to undermine university research institutions by attacking diversity programs and establishing an alternative referred to as the American University, while instituting a keyword-based system that rejects research funding related to the study of AI bias. The ultimate goal isn't just automation, but rather a transfer of democratic decision-making power to technical infrastructure controlled by a small group of tech elites. Of course, the far-right Heritage Foundation has joined the effort to eliminate the federal bureaucracy. Project 2025, which is clearly being implemented despite mocking Republican denials during the 2024 campaign, calls for a purging and dismantling of government as well. Seizing congressional oversight of government spending and programs enacted by statute and handing them to an automated system would be the first sign that the AI coup is complete. It would signal the transition from democratic governance to technocratic automatism, in which the engineers determine how to co-opt congressional funding toward the goals of the executive branch. Refusing to share insight into the system's outputs, deferring to a combination of security or even commercial concerns and myths of black box neural networks, would shield it from any real scrutiny by Congress. What was once considered a fringe theory is now being carried out by the corporate powers that have completely seized the U.S. government, implying that parts of techno-monarchism may define future governance forms all over the world. We are witnessing the methodical implementation of a long-planned strategy to transform American democracy into techno-monarchy. The playbook was written in plain sight and is now being followed step by step. Trump possesses the authority to grant pardons. SCOTUS has granted him immunity from prosecution for official actions. This Congress will not initiate impeachment proceedings against him. Trump has already asserted his supremacy in that context. Musk can disregard court orders due to the protection afforded by this force field. As DOGE, destruction of government by Elon, advances, no one will impede its progress. Furthermore, Pam Bondi, an election denier, has assumed the role of Attorney General, therefore precluding any investigations from being initiated. Whether through corporate governance, AI-driven administration, or post-national city-states, the question remains, is techno-monarchism the path to a more stable, efficient society, or a gateway to technological totalitarianism?